Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this. Today, we're exploring the high-stakes, highly strategic world of inventory management. It's essentially the ultimate balancing act that can totally make or break a company's financial health. So, let's unpack exactly how the pros do it.
Let's start with a number that really sets the stage: 15 to 30%. For a typical manufacturing company, this represents the massive proportion of their total assets tied up in inventory alone. Think about that for a second. Right behind your physical plant and machinery, inventory is usually a firm's largest single asset category. We are talking about a gigantic amount of working capital, literally just sitting there on the shelves.
And, that immense financial weight brings us to this really fascinating tension. People often say inventory is a necessary evil, but why frame it as an evil? Well, because overstocking means you've got cash sitting idle, doing absolutely nothing for you, all while tying up valuable physical space. But on the flip side, understocking? That causes an immediate financial hit too. You're looking at interrupted production, lost sales, and just completely missed business opportunities. It's a very fragile tightrope walk.
So here is our roadmap for today. We'll be covering 1. Reasons for holding inventory, 2. The twin management objectives, 3. Understanding inventory costs, and finally, 4. Essential inventory control techniques.
All right, jumping right into Section 1, Reasons for Holding Inventory.
So inventory isn't just one monolithic thing, right? It actually exists across multiple stages to stop operational bottlenecks in their tracks. We've got raw materials to buffer against, say, supplier delays. We've got work in process, or WIP, to keep complex assemblies moving along. Then finished goods, so you can instantly capture customer demand. And of course, essential spares to keep the machinery online. Holding these strategic buffers prevents disrupted operations, idle time, and ultimately, a loss of revenue.
Now, beyond just the physical items themselves, there are really three core motives driving these purchasing decisions: transactional, precautionary, and speculative. The transactional motive is super straightforward. It's just holding inventory simply to conduct your normal day-to-day business. The precautionary motive, on the other hand, is all about safety. It's keeping a buffer just in case there's an unexpected shortage of materials, or maybe a sudden spike in demand. And finally, the speculative motive. This one's a bit more aggressive. It's about buying up materials now to shield the business from anticipated adverse price movements in the future.
Moving right along to Section 2, the twin management objectives.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that you essentially have two incredibly important perspectives inside a company, and they basically want the exact opposite things. Operationally, your production and marketing teams want continuous supply, uninterrupted production, and they want to absolutely avoid the danger of stockouts to ensure great customer service. Their worst nightmare is running out of stuff. But financially, the objective is to minimize investment, drastically reduce inventory costs, and ensure strict economy in purchasing. They absolutely hate seeing capital locked up doing nothing. So the goal of management is to somehow satisfy the operational side without bankrupting the company to do it.
Which brings us right into Section 3, understanding inventory costs.
This essentially boils down to two heavy hitters. Ordering costs are the variable expenses related to, actually getting the items from a supplier. It involves the time for preparing the order, placing it, and the inspection costs when the goods finally arrive. Every single time you make a purchase, these costs hit you. Carrying costs, or holding costs, are what a business pays simply to keep the inventory in stock. And this isn't just warehouse space. It includes the cost of the capital tied up, storage fees, deterioration of the items over time, and even obsolescence. So here is the trap. Order too often in small batches, and your ordering costs spike. But order too much all at once, your carrying costs skyrocket.
Let's look at how to solve this puzzle. Section 4, Essential Inventory Control Techniques.
Let's look at a brilliantly simple yet incredibly elegant physical control method. It's called the two-bin system. It works exactly how it sounds. You consume your inventory normally from bin 1, and the moment it's empty, that depletion automatically triggers a signal to reorder new stock. While you wait for that new order to arrive during the lead time, you consume your safety stock from bin 2. When the new order finally arrives, you completely restore bin 2 first, and then put whatever is left back into bin 1. It's just a highly intuitive system to prevent a factory from ever running completely dry.
But what if you're a massive firm managing thousands of different items? You can't treat them all equally. So the crucial point here is applying ABC analysis, which is a classic application of management by exception. Category A items are the expensive, highly critical things that demand strict, constant control. Category B items require moderate investment, while Category C covers your basic, low-value, less frequent items. I mean, it would be a total cumbersome waste of time to rigorously calculate order models for basic screws the exact same way you control expensive microchips. ABC analysis focuses management's energy exactly where the most capital is tied up.
Now, for those highly critical items, management relies on something called the economic order quantity, or EOQ. It's basically the company's optimal order quantity that minimizes its total costs related to ordering, receiving, and holding inventory. Remember that fierce battle between ordering costs and carrying costs we just talked about? The EOQ is the perfect mathematical sweet spot where the sum of those two costs is at its absolute minimum. It literally takes the guesswork out and tells a business exactly how much to buy at one single time. And this brilliantly illustrates how the whole thing fits together. While EOQ tells you exactly how much to buy, the reorder point dictates exactly when to pull the trigger. It's carefully calculated based on lead time and your average usage rate, and it guarantees that a company knows exactly when to restock, perfectly timing the arrival of new inventory to prevent empty shelves and idle workers.
So we've covered a lot of ground today, from the sheer scale of assets tied up in stock to the really sophisticated techniques used to manage them. Next time you're out and about, think of a local business you frequent. Do they have way too much cash sitting idle, gathering dust on their shelves? Or are they constantly running out of stock and losing your sales? Mastering that perfect balance is the true art and science of inventory management. Thanks so much for joining this explainer, and we'll see you next time.